Michelle Torrio, and this is the Be Mindful podcast. Hi there, and welcome back to the Be Mindful podcast. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about something that a lot of people ask themselves, like, what is my purpose? What is my calling? Like, why am I here? We're going to talk about that today because I myself have been asked, like, how did you know that your calling was to be a mindset coach? How did you know that you wanted to start a podcast? And honestly, it wasn't finding my purpose. It was really following it, following my inner guidance, following that inner voice, that inner gut that is telling me, hey, you should go this way. And that's exactly what has led me to where I am today. That is what led me to achieve things that I have dreamed of, like filming my own podcast here in my own home. Like, this has been a dream, and the fact that I'm living it now, and now I can create and decorate my background however I want to, like, that is a dream of mine, and I'm in that right now. And I'm only here because I listened to my heart and I listened to God. I listened to what really felt right for me. And if you're new here, welcome. If you're into mindset, manifestation, growth, talking about bettering yourself, then this is a podcast for you. So be sure to like and subscribe and continue following for more. I also wanted to ask for a favor. If you can comment or even message me or tell me, like, where are you listening in from? Because I've noticed that I've been getting more subscribers and I want to know where people are listening in. And I also want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. There are some of you that are silent listeners that I didn't even know were listening and have messaged me on Instagram and have told me that you love my podcast. So thank you. Thank you to all of you who have been here from the beginning, who maybe just found the podcast. I am so appreciative of every single one of you. All right, let's get straight into the episode now. So let's talk about, how do we find our purpose? How do we know what to do? Like, how do we know it's the right path for us? That's a question that I think that lingers on for a long time. And it starts when, for me personally, I think it started when I was like in junior high, soon about to go into high school, because that's when we start to realize that, okay, we need to start planning our future. That's when we learn that, okay, what are we going to do for the rest of our lives? Like, we are taught to decide at such an early age, which is mind-blowing to me, but that's pretty much where it all starts. And sometimes it could feel very confusing, or you could feel very lost if you were on a specific path for so long and realize that you don't want this anymore and that you're unhappy and that you feel called to do something else. We tend to make purpose complicated. Our purpose here is not whatever you're passionate in. It's not a job or career. It's not even you finding like your soulmate. It's not just one calling. I truly believe that our purpose of being here is bigger than that. It makes me ask the question, like, what if our purpose isn't a destination, but instead it's a relationship? And when I say relationship, it's a relationship with yourself and listening to those little voices that come inside and tell you, like, hey, I'm nudging you to go this way. Follow it. So it's a relationship of listening and then choosing on how you want to respond to it. As a reminder, whatever I share in my episodes, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. So I always ask, if you are new here, to just come with an open mind. And with that, that's where I want to lean into your inner voice and listening to that. Whether you believe in God or not, or in your higher self, or in the universe, or this energetic source, like whatever you believe in, I know that each and every one of us have experienced that little whisper, like that pull to do something, or something just keeps coming up over and over in your head, like, hey, you need to do this. Like, I don't know what it is, but it just keeps coming up over and over and over again. Like, for example, maybe you've got the nudge to apply for a specific job. Like, you couldn't stop thinking about it. And so that was your pull. But a perfect example is me and this podcast. I stopped this podcast for a year. I felt a nudge like, hey, you need to pause everything. You need to stop everything. And you really need to focus on you. Like, I kept hearing that over and over and over. And I didn't know if I was going to come back. Like, I really had no idea. I just listened to it. And then around August of last year, wow, it's almost a year. I'm filming this and it's going to be August, literally the day after this is posted. Wow, that is really wild. But anyway, I started getting this inner voice in my head like, hey, you need to prepare. It's time. You need to go back. Like, you need to go all in, but you need to go all in differently. I'm so glad that I'm listened to that because I really enjoy doing this and it just feels right. It feels right to me. And I think that's the biggest takeaway here is when you are listening to that inner voice, that gut feeling, that pull, it does not matter what other people think outside of you. If there's something that I want to do and I keep thinking about it and I'm unsure of it, I sit with it. I sit with it for a while to be sure that this is something that I want. And I don't share it with other people and ask them, like, what do you think I should do? Because this is my life. And that's exactly how you should approach everything. Because if you allow other people's opinions, you're never really gonna know like what choice is truly yours. So the challenge here isn't hearing the voice or however you may hear it or see it, but it's really listening to it and following it. So you may be asking yourself, like, okay, well, how do I know? Like, how do I tap in? How do I listen in? How do I receive like these downloads? A lot of people say downloads. How do I receive the message from God? What do I do? And how do I make sure that it's not just like me thinking it and it's more so my intuition or God talking to me? This is where I advise you to connect to mindfulness. This is another skill and like another practice that I advise that you do often. So if you want to connect with like your intuition, you really want to hear that calling, whatever it is, turn off all the distractions. Give yourself a few minutes a day to be in silence, to be quiet. No notifications, no music in the background, nothing. And turn off all the distractions so that we can be very clear minded. It took me a while to really understand it myself and know when it was God talking to me, or maybe I'm just kind of trying to convince myself to do something because I feel like I need to do it. Like there's a difference between feeling called to do something and then doing something out of force because you think you need to. And if you are a believer in God, God will never force you to do anything. He will just tell you, like, hey, this is bigger than you, and I'm asking you to do this for the better of the world. He's going to give you opportunities to do that, and it's really up to you on how you're going to respond. And this is where we need to be intentional. We need to be intentional with creating that space for ourselves. So, a great way of thinking of this is the more I create moments of quietness, the louder I can hear my intuition. Now, I mentioned this earlier, but I want to go more into it about how I don't believe that our purpose is just one thing. I personally believe that we have different purposes in our lives within different seasons of our lives. And some of those do last for seasons, or maybe they last for decades, or maybe they're just this little part of our life that needs to happen so that maybe it can have an impact that ripples in the future later. Like, for example, part of my purpose today is being a wife. And one day I pray that whenever God's ready to give that to me, I will be a mom. Like that is going to be another purpose for me. So right now, part of my purpose is being a wife, being a coach, being a podcaster. But overall, I think a purpose that each and every one of us has is a purpose to serve others. And the reason for that is also because it's so fulfilling. And none of these purposes that I have right now, they don't compete with one another. They are part of the bigger purpose that God or the universe, whatever you believe in, has for me. And even though I don't really know exactly what that purpose looks like, it's bigger than me. So, this is what I mean here when it comes to purpose. It's not just one title. Our purpose is an overall collection. It's a collection of us serving and loving and growing and impacting others. So, the way that you're going to be able to find your calling and your purpose and listen to all the signs, however that may be, it's really to stop waiting for certainty. Stop waiting for someone else to confirm that this is what you need to do. Even if it doesn't make sense, but it's something that you just cannot get your mind out of it, then follow that. When I'm trying to hear God and listen to my intuition, my gut, like the inner voice, I've noticed for me that I just can't stop thinking about something and how I should just do it. Like, this feels like I need to do this. That has occurred over and over in my life so many times. And that's how I was able to determine when to move forward or not. It may look different for you. So I don't want to say like this is exactly how it's going to show up for you. This is exactly how you're going to know this is the voice telling you what to do. But look back at moments in your life where you felt called like to do something and you did it, and then you look back and you're like, wow, like I am so happy that I did that, or I'm so happy this decision was made because I wouldn't be where I am today. For example, one of the first times for me was when I was in college and I was on track to be a dentist, and it was my junior year of college, and this random thought came up for me that you should change your major. You should change it to biopsychology, and you should go towards learning about the brain. I want to be a dentist and then change that to learning about the brain. Like, what? That made absolutely no sense to me. And I was terrified because I'm a junior and I'm about to switch my plans, but I'll never forget the fear and just worry that I was making the biggest mistake of my life. But I'm so, so happy I made that choice, because fast forward to today, things that I have learned about the brain really helps me as a mindset coach, because I also was able to get certifications in life coaching and success coaching. Also, if you're looking for a coach, you can apply. Links are below. So that was one of the first experiences where I needed to sit with that thought that kept coming up and then just follow it. And the moment you decide to follow it, sometimes it's like an immediate relief, and other times you kind of sit through the fear and kind of question, like, am I doing the right thing? But this is where you really need to lean on yourself and trust in God, the universe, energy, that whatever happens, it's still going to work out. And a little manifestation tip: if you are so worried about the outcome, focus on how you want it to work out, but also being open to it happening even better than you can imagine. There's a quote I love, and this is so helpful in moments where I get a little too stuck on like the outcome, and it's always saying this or something better. That is something that I learned from Amanda Francis. And when you say this or something better, you're opening the door to knowing that there can be an outcome that's even better than you can ever imagine. Like right now, where I'm sitting in my home, this was a brand new home. I didn't even think it was possible to even get a brand new home, and I'm here. So I had a goal to get a house, but the outcome was better than I had expected. And choosing to believe that great things are ahead and it only gets better and better. Remember, that's a choice. That's a choice that you can make every single day, to lean on that belief. And that's a great manifestation tip, because you're no longer focusing on the worst case scenario or worrying. You're instead focusing on what can happen, what's available to you, and you're only available for the best outcome. So, again, as a reminder, just start even if you're not certain. Go for it. Make the decision because every decision you make gives you more information. And with the more information you're going to get, your purpose is going to become even clearer because you are taking action and moving. You're moving the needle. So if you're someone that keeps asking yourself, like, what is my calling? What is my purpose? I don't know what to do with my life. Instead of asking yourself this, I want you to ask yourself these few questions. What is a dream or a thought or a desire that keeps coming up for you? What are the steps that feel both exciting but also uncomfortable? Maybe you are not showing up as fully as you can. Instead, you're making excuses and saying that this is why I can't do it. There's X, Y, and Z. Like, what is that? Once you answer those questions, you'll be able to get an answer for yourself so that you can take the first step. Our purpose and our calling is not something that we should be chasing. Like, it's never forced. I talk about that all the time. What we want, what we desire, never forced. So, the more that we listen and we trust, that is when we start to become the person that we're meant to be. And maybe that's exactly what the purpose has been this entire time. And that is the end of today's episode. If you enjoyed it, please go ahead and like. If you didn't, please go ahead and like anyways. And please subscribe if you are new. And I will see you in the next episode. But don't forget to be mindful because who you are from within will attract from the out. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.